Across the country, there are many different types of charter schools in operation, but they all have one primary focus: to provide a quality academic experience for their students. Because of this, a school's academics need to be the top priority for you, the board. If a school truly wants to live up to its mission, it has to remember that pure student learning comes before everything else. With that in mind, let's talk about academics. Charter schools exist to provide effective, high-quality education to students. That means one of the most important duties of a good charter school board is the reading and evaluation of academic reports. Keeping your finger on the pulse of your school's academics is one of the best ways to ensure that quality education is actually happening. When dealing with all the complications that tend to pop up for governing boards, it can be easy to get lost in the weeds and lose sight of what the overall purpose was in the first place. That's why it's important to put in the work and make sure you've got a comprehensive understanding of the school's mission-specific goals.
I think the focus of a board member on a charter school needs to be, how are we giving these students the tools, not only the reading, the math that they would get at their neighborhood school, but how are we putting our spin on it to align with our mission?
As a board, you need to stay aware of the key academic guideposts for your students, including math comprehension and reading level. Start by forming an academic excellence committee, a special team of board members that is solely dedicated to tracking academic results. Once established, the committee can decide what indicators to track and how often to track them. One good option for the committee is to compare your school's results with ISAT and other state-used performance indicators. Another is to compare results between classes in the same grade. This can help you narrow down which teaching methods are most effective for delivering the material.
With regard to how a governing board might use performance metrics, ultimately at the very start of the charter, you're going to work with your authorizer to set those goals. Some authorizers have set goals already that they want you to adopt, and other authorizers may give you the opportunity to contribute or refine to those goals. So it's like a collaborative process. In either case, you want to make sure that your academic program is on target to prepare kids to meet those goals.
They are always under the threat of closure if they don't meet the criteria of their performance certificate, their charter agreement, their document that governs their charter. A lot of times the trade-off that's made is you get more flexibility, you get more ability to carry out your mission, but in exchange, you have to be accountable for results.
If your school's results exceed those laid out in your charter, and your students are excelling in your school's specialized area, those are both signs that you're at least on the right track. This isn't to say your academics shouldn't be at or above average for all subjects. They should. But if the school isn't excelling in the way it was actually founded for, that's an obvious sign that changes need to be made. In short, make sure your school is delivering on its own biggest selling point. Test scores aren't the only thing you should take into account when evaluating your school's performance. There are several other indicators of success that are also important, though maybe in less obvious ways than test scores and GPAs. For instance, a school's board needs to effectively monitor the health and well-being of the students and staff who spend their weeks there. Studies have shown that happier students attend school more consistently and perform better academically. As your school develops, you and the rest of the board will likely begin to develop some of your own indicators of success based on the school's unique traits.
Really, charter schools provide the option for both adults and kids to find a great fit and really make sure that you've got all the wheels turning in support of student learning.
To be able to do that, to sort of look and watch and innovate and see what you think is best for kids and do it is a pretty rewarding, unique opportunity.
You'll need to have a system in place for communicating with the school's parents, ensuring they're satisfied with their child's experience. Positive word of mouth is one of the big ways a school's reputation is established. Making sure the word stays positive will keep your school filled with students. One of the most attractive qualities about a charter school can be the level of autonomy it has when it comes to creating a curriculum. But this autonomy should have some limits. A charter school that just focuses on specialization and forgoes the core subject matter completely risks harming the core educational base of their students.
So the North Star is we don't want to do anything that would harm the ability of these kids to get an education. And What that means is you need to think about how do you operate in a way that is honest, true, to making impact for kids.
As a board, it's vital to keep an eye on the performance of the students in their general education subjects. If you don't, the authorizer can and will revoke your charter.
Charter schools can be closed. If there's a performance contract that requires academic, fiscal, and legal compliance, it's a legal document. And if those performance metrics are not satisfied, there is not just an opportunity to close the school, but there's an obligation to.
Generally, it's this constant balance of regulation and freedom that all charter boards should be shooting for. Innovative ideas, but not at the sacrifice of the concrete essentials. A real attempt at something new, but not at the expense of your students' academic success. As soon as your charter is issued, it's vital that you do take the time to set up a comprehensive performance framework that allows you to keep it. While you should be keeping track of all of your performance indicators, the charter itself can be your most important one. Be honest and lay out your goals in the performance framework as vital hurdles that need to be cleared to stay in operation.
If you do what you're doing well and you meet the requirements of what the state says you need to do education-wise, you have a lot of autonomy to just do what you think is best for kids and teachers.
Overall, measuring the success of your school is a nuanced process and should consider all possible data as relevant, from the qualitative to the quantitative. Test scores are important, but so are factors like student happiness and community involvement. Speaking of involvement, any good charter board knows that positive relationships with the community can be one of the best ways to generate positive word of mouth and support for your school.
Oftentimes, I just try to listen a lot. It doesn't take much to hear perspective from other people, but listening to those perspectives, you never know what nugget may come out of that, and or just, being very clear about my role on this board is X, Y, or Z. If you listen, you do get perspective.
Along with requirements, there are also some unique academic challenges faced by charter schools. Historically, charter schools are pretty good at meeting challenges with creative solutions. Teachers find innovative ways to stretch their materials and supplies farther, and charter schools will sometimes partner with local nonprofits to provide services that benefit the students.
All students, regardless of their zip code, their environment, deserve an impactful education. So I am then committed to creating structures and processes and supports and helping the charter management organization that I'm working with in fulfilling that.
Like it so often does, necessity can breed innovation. So don't let these challenges kill any of your enthusiasm. When the right heads are put together, success is there to be had. Let's talk for a minute about what to keep in mind during the hiring process. One of your most important duties as a charter board comes with finding, selecting, and hiring the school leader. As the head of management, your school leader is responsible for all daily operations, including the hiring of teaching staff. This means they have a real, substantial impact on your students' learning and success. So take the time to find and hire the right person. Once you have, ensure the lines of communication are open. They'll need to reach out to you for help and advice. Your relationship is vital in fulfilling the school's mission.
In order to trust the division of governance and operations, the board, which is tasked with governance, should really hire somebody who it trusts can run the operations, and then should have a performance management system in place to make sure that that school leader is doing what's expected.
Loyalty to the school's mission is one of the best qualities you can have as a charter board member. And while maintaining your charter is obviously vital, that shouldn't keep you from thinking big and bold during the hiring process. A desire to push the boundaries and challenge the status quo goes with the original spirit of charter schools. So it's important to be open to ideas when hiring, willing to listen to teachers, staff, and leadership with innovative ideas that line up with the school's mission. In this episode, we went over some of the main ideas to keep in mind as a board member when discussing, managing, and evaluating the academics of your school, the challenges and logistical realities that face any charter board, and the approaches you should take to ensure everything stays in service of the school's mission. These topics are important because the academics themselves are the point where that mission truly becomes a reality. So feel free to review the video and discuss the topics covered.